Hello, everybody. Welcome. That's a little bassy. We got to fix that. I'm still, oh, loudness is on, so that's what's doing it. Let's turn it down just a little bit. Yes, this is for MegaMagic Keys. And hello, I'm John Lemcool. I hope you are doing well. I see that the stream has happened already. Do you happen to know if your drummer friend Zion? I don't know. I got an email. I think you sent me an email on Brian, and so this library is going some crazy places. Let me make sure I save this so you can come back to it. But check this out. So this is Keys, which is coming out on Wednesday. Oh, let's get to the right library. So it just shows us what's in this library. It's going all over the place. MegaMagic Keys is a pretty cool project because I went to my mom and dad's house. My mom's a piano teacher, and I've worked so hard on this piano. I recorded it here, I can show you a video. I recorded it in a natural place, my mom's house, my mom and dad's house. And as you can see, there's stuff all around it, and it's not a studio room. I don't know if I have a video of the technique of what I used to record it. Let's see. This is what I used to record the vintage organ. There you can see I used a little Tascam DR40X, and I used 2 Rode microphones in a cross XY pattern. And then I also recorded a U1 upright, my mom's U1 upright. She's taught students in this room for many, many, many years. She teaches, she's almost 80. She still teaches like 30 some students a day. And I've never recorded these instruments. And I was like, you know, I should try and see how this comes out because I haven't tried. And, oh, but not the Max Green. Oh, right. Thank you. Let's see here. I have to push a button in OBS. Thanks. I was there. Back to the corner for you, Skippy. Get up there. All right, so this is MegaMagic Keys. It comes out on Wednesday. As you can see, the environment's not perfect. And so I actually worked with a friend of mine in Los Angeles that you guys know from a Chorus Station, Jeff Stradling. He worked with me, got an engineer in, and they made, here I can show you, I think, one of the curves. Checked out, this is one of the curves that I applied to the samples. Let's see if I go like this. And I go right here, and like, this is the one that we used. This is the curve we used to remove certain EQ nodes in the C3 piano so that it would... So I ran all the samples through that. I have a batch processing technique that's no longer available. Yet more software has gone dinosaur on us. And that helped me get these to this point where they sound really great. I'm so happy with. Let me kill my microphone for a second so you can hear them. So I'm thrilled with how these turned out. Now, as bright as it is, I was part of the Korg M1 voicing team, and I didn't work on the original M1 samples, but I know where they came from and I know how they sound, and I was able to get close to that. It's a 3-way velocity sampled piano, which means there's also just the soft piano samples. As well as sustain panel up, all sorts of things. I've gone through, and I'll show you in a little bit. I've been recording all sorts of really cool alternative attack things to right? So there's that, there's toothbrushes, and there's a bell thwack, which is a cool attack. Just for cool alternative attack things, the U1 upright is right here. Uprights have a whole different sound. Three velocity layers. I did one pass and got super lucky. I played the right velocities. I played every note. Nothing is looped. Everything sustains pretty much to silence. And I sampled felt because the U1 upright has felt that can be pulled over the keys. Here, I'll turn off the microphone again. So there's these different pianos. There's the 1870s pump organ, which, and you push down the sustain pedal, and thanks to the new trigger box, that starts the pumping. There's a little bit more work I still need to do to him to get him where I want that organ to be. It's not done. I've got till Wednesday to work on a little bit more. Now, this is a MegaMagic library, and let me see here. If you guys, good. I'm glad you guys are liking the piano. Yeah, I've never made something like this. This is going to be the most expensive library I've ever released. The library retail is $99, but it will be on an introductory price for until sometime in early January. But it goes much, 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 much farther. And this is where it gets really special because it's MegaMagic. And I've come up with what I call 2.0 of MegaMagic, which is totally cool. Let's start with the felt piano. So let me mute MegaMagic. I showed this last week. Wait. Oh, wait. Instead of muting, I soloed it. So you've got the mute piano, and then on a separate layer is the long reverb. No longer in other libraries because of Omnisphere and the limited controls and all that stuff. I baked the sample with the reverb. This is the first library of a new type of approach where the reverb is actually a separate layer. So you still get this super dreamy, right? But now if I want, instead of this, I could go over here to, where are they? I always forget. Piano Tech is Mod Art. There we go, Mod Art. I could say piano tech, load up this piano and have it play with the felt MegaMagic samples. So because of Unify, because it is a layered approach, I've broken the piano down into multiple layers. You can now use any plugin for the piano. It could be a synth, it could be anything. The reverb and the actual sample that made the reverb are separated. So taking this concept, I've also done the grand, and check this out. Here's 3 different velocities of the grand. And the mezzo, which is a little bit brighter. And then the fortissimo, which is the really bright. And for the first time, velocity switching reverb. So not only is it the reverb is separated, but there's 3 different velocity dynamics of the reverb that you can now play like that. So let's say I want to play with Ivory. So go down here. Actually, let's add Ivory to the mix. So let's go over here, layers, add an empty layer. Click the little bullet next to the instrument load. Go down here to Synthagy. This is probably my favorite piano. If I was to sit and say, what's your favorite? I mean, I did my best with my grand piano, but I didn't record 9-foot grands. I didn't record with the same techniques. A friend of mine, Joey, who already is behind Synthagy, and he is just a dedicated genius. Let's see. Oh, this is the Beyond piano. No, I want Bosendorfer. Here's the Imperial Hall Grand. So I've now put the Bosendorfer from Ivory playing with MegaMagic Reverb. Pretty cool. If I want to use Keyscape, I could go over here to favorite instruments because it is a favorite. And here we go. I could go the C7, let's say classical. And what I have to do, I have to go tweak and the transition. I always need to be, I don't like how short everything is. There. So these reverbs will work with anything that you've got to give you cool piano combinations. You could layer it with a synth. It doesn't have to be piano. And so it's a cool different take on what we can do. Because Unify is a host and you can play with all your pianos in here. So why not give you fun things to play with piano? So this leads to another part of this library that's crazy. There is MegaMagic 2, by the way, which is got the shimmer verb like MegaMagic guitars in it. So, and I haven't done the grand yet. That's fun to do. In fact, if there's time, we're going to use Logic as my editing tool, and I'll show you the steps, including using SampleMapper to get a MegaMagic sample map into Unify. We'll do that at the end because there's a lot to do. But check this out. I went last week to the ocean and I brought my field recorder. This is on a beautiful beach south of Hug Point here on the Oregon coast. I also went to Seaside, which is a rocky beach with no sand. And so totally different sounds. I've been recording ambiences for a long time. Jason Schopfer has recorded all sorts of stuff for a library he has coming out called Freshwater. And so I licensed, as you can see, these are different environments. And what this means is you click here and it calls up the piano. And then on the mod wheel, I have a stream. Let me kill my microphone so you can just hear. I'll play through a couple different ones of these so you can hear what I'm doing. So you can go places and then just play. So this is one where I'm taking the piano and I'm using, we have a shift function, which I'm not using. It sounds shifted almost, doesn't it? Oh, I'm shifting the reverb. So the shift, if I just solo the piano, the shift allows you to shift the map and transpose it. You can get tiny or you can get really big. Well, I kept the U1 normal and instead I shifted the reverb because I can do that now. So instead of the reverb being bright, I'm shifting basically the format of the reverb to a whole different space than the piano, but together all sorts of experimental, fun, new things can come from Unify for piano, for keyboard. So kind of exciting. Hope you guys are in. Let me see. You got any comments about this? Oh, good. Yeah, I'm going for a very different sound. If you compare this, let's see. Let's do this. I have where you can hear the comparisons. I've gone here to user. Here it is comparing the C3. And what's fun is playing them together too. Here is, let's see, the C3. Compare that to Ivory. But what's fun is combining them. I have MegaMagic added, which I could mute. So then it's just. And once you've done this, you know, one piano. They really fill out each other's perspectives. They complement each other really well. Same with Keyscape. If you call up Keyscape and the Unify together, it takes a second to load Keyscape up. It's Keyscape's fault. Keyscape and MegaMagic. So I've got the MegaMagic Reverb playing with Keyscape, and then I can bring up here's Keyscape by itself. So you're adding all this really cool, beautiful stuff to it. Here's Noir, which is a very different sound. This may be, after Ivory, I think Noir is probably my favorite, although Piano Tech is great, and Keyscape is great for its applications. It doesn't have the same speaking range to me as the others, but its presence is just incredible. But let's see here. Let's load this up. They're all great. I mean, this will take a second to load. So let's do it in stages. Here's Noir by itself. It's still loading. Takes it forever to load everything up. Unify loads really fast. It loads to RAM. There's no disk streaming. We don't have 8,000 samples. It's about 120 samples to make up the piano samples by themselves for the 3 velocities. But I know what to do with samples, so I can get more out of less. Not that it matches the same realism of Noir. Noir is just incredible. I'll kill my microphone. Just enjoy for a minute. So they complement each other. They speak so well together. You can do the whole range. Once you get used to hearing the MegaMagic piano with it, you take it out. It sounds very clinical. This gives it that loose, someone with long hair and some tattoos coming into the piano shop type of thing, you know? So I'm really actually blown away with how well the piano is not easy to sample. I've done big professional sampling sessions for Korg before. I know what's involved. I didn't have a technician sitting there to harden the hammers. So this B flat, sorry, it's got a little bit of a funky ring to it. I actually have plans to try to tighten it up a little bit. Now, on top of this, I am also going to be making some of these things because these are kind of signature things of mine to try to push things even farther. This is getting into layers. This is 2 layers of OBXD in the mix. This is the brushing sounds being used sequence-wise. So there will be probably at least 6 of these. There's 2 right now where it's so things like this. Brushed and Dreamy is another one where and then on top of this, we do have, I'm gonna make some more of these. I just started these last night. This is one of the jams, and there'll be a whole bunch of these. This is the lo-fi jam. So you got the, because we have Chow tape model, we can go from, this is the soft velocities of the C3 Grand, add Chow, now it comes bassy and kind of, and then on the mod wheel, is a stream and a drum groove. And now, of course, I have to do this. Let's say go low note. I haven't done this yet, but let's do this together for the first time. Let's just go, just for fun, to the full library. Find something like one of the solid pop basses, load into new Unify layer. Let's see, I want to have this and this stop here, this stop here. Oh, and let me go to Unify really quick. I've got the mod wheel set up to play filter cutoff. We don't want that to happen, so now. So there'll be some splits set up with the old piano. There's also other process. I'm actually going to record some records tomorrow to add to this. There'll be record noise added to this. It's building, you know, that's kind of how I like to do these things. Here's. You know how you can get all these free lo-fi pianos if you know, go try to get Halion to work on your computer, which is not easy. This will have those types of pianos included. Here's one where I'm using the C3, but the ambience is from the felt, right? All sorts of different places you can take these. So coming Wednesday with the update to Unify will be MegaMagic Keys. Yeah, so yeah, lo-fi will be in the house represented. Yes. MegaMagic Keys will be available Wednesday, the same time that we're releasing the update to Unify 1.7, which includes such niceties as you now have the ability to make subsets. Like if I say just Unify exclusives, that means it's highlighting only the libraries that are available, you can purchase at the website. So when I close this, my pull down list now only shows those libraries, even though I have far more libraries currently loaded up, right? So it will come with this cool capability. You have the ability down here. I could go down here and say, let's get just the, oh, I'm on exclusives. Let's go back to MegaMagic Keys and say that I have just the C3 Grand. Oh, let's use the Dreamy Sustain. Let's call it that. And then what we can do now, because for so many people, you don't know that it's an option, you can click right here and change the instructions for how Unify is going to load patches. So now without having to right click, because I set it to load embedded, I can just go BPM pad, and I could say running towards freedom, and it would load that into this patch. So I can go now, oh, I want a pad. So let's go down here to pads. Let's say I want Flutterscape. I can keep building. This is adding new instruments as new layers into Unify. And if I was to like go back here and say I want to use the unified libraries. So that's unified libraries, close. I could now go down and choose any of these libraries. Like let's say Spitfire Labs, which was just updated this week. I added LA Atmos, a new library added of samples to labs. So if we go up here, there's London Atmos, that was before. LA Atmos is right here. This is still on load embedded. So I could say load, let's say helicopter. And it's not a helicopter. It's actually something kind of cool. And it's gonna load it as a new layer. So I now have this helicopter in it, but it's sound designed out. So this ability is really nice because for so many people, it's not clear that you can right click on patches. And I wanted a graphic, but this is the best we could do. I wanted different icons, but the graphic work takes so much work in software. It's just incredible. It's like 4 times the work of putting in a parameter is spent making little cute graphic icons that you hover over and change colors. That kind of stuff just takes Shane forever. And so we do minimal of that right now for Unify 1.0. Someday, maybe we will do Unify 2.0 and graphics and all that kind of stuff is one of the things that will be looked at. Anyway, we also have a patch count, as you can see, which means the Spitfire Labs library is now up to 418 patches. So there's a lot there to work with. In the video description of this video, I put a link to the forums to a page where all 40, we now have 40 of these bloody libraries that have been unified for all the UHE synths. The Korg Prophecy is there. So if I was to go over here and say load embedded and go to, I think it says ARP. And I don't know if this is going to work. It's probably going to sound horrible. But let's load a Korg Prophecy into layer number 5. And then we have this spiffy ability to say replace with embedded of instrument 1. And what that means is inside this unified layer, it's only one instrument for all these unified libraries. So if I go replace with embedded 1, boom, it will put one up so I see Prophecy instead of it being a Unify. And we actually made a shortcut. So if you hold down Control and Option, I think it doesn't say it. If you hold down Control and Option, you can click any Unify instrument that says Unify, and it will just pop up the top number 1 layer. So now these, instead of being, now this one is a Unify that has a whole lot going on. So I wouldn't want to do that because it would only keep this top instrument layer 1. So I'm not going to do it for that one, but the other ones. And what this means is now I can just double click and I see Prophecy without having to go into Unify layer and then click Unify and then to see the Prophecy. And it still says Prophetic Steps, even though it's playing a different sound. It's a known issue that we're talking to Korg about. So we'll see if we can figure that out. So those are 2 of the biggies. There's some other ones. One that's a major time saver in Unify 1.7 that I'm using a lot. Let me show you another thing that's coming out. We also made a shortcut so that when you click the libraries, if you right click, it's the same as load. So I can just say I want all the, let's say all libraries. At the very top is Morgan. Morgan is coming with Unify 1.7. And this is pretty cool. This is something Shane's been working on for, I've still got it on load embedded, right? So you got to be careful. You got to set this back to just load patch. So it would just load one patch. And I now have access to the drawbars. So I'm playing. And so Unify 1.7 comes with Morgan, which is 3 free plugins. And I was showing you a little bit about Trigger Box to get the environmental and stuff. That's also coming with Unify 1.7. Here's Morgan. So you got your drawbars that you can now, I'm missing 8. Oh, where's 8? Oh, I'll have to look. I'm missing 8 right there altogether. Whoops. So you have that. You have Morgan Cab, which is 2 different Leslie's effects that you can mix and blend, as well as the direct drive from Morgan. And then we have MIDI controls so that you can have Leslie's speed up and slow down with the sustain pedal, with the modulation wheel, or with both, which is really, really cool. So that you can do cool things. Now, the final part of this is, let's go to Glean-Eyed Clean, is right here, the perk. This is using a MIDI effect called Morgan Perk. And this allows you to choose different types of triggering and gating. You can use this on any synth, and it will gate it to a very short note length. And if you set it to mono, and if you set to mono retrigger, then you have parameters for legato bleeding over to other notes like a B3 does. Right? So by using these, let's see, I gotta set these both to, see how it's got this window open. If I shorten this, I can't roll. See, if I'm playing my note, but if I make this window longer, that the B3 actually does that, where it's got a certain amount of time that it lets mono be legato, and then it goes away. And so we're simulating that in a MIDI effect or stimulate. It's very stimulating. So that way, turn up the perk. I don't think I think I have this set polyphonic, so it needs to be monophonic. There. Right? So the fun thing with this is that it doesn't have to be Morgan. It doesn't have to be organ. This is an example. I've got many more to make, but this is one where GuruSampler has replaced the organ. And on the mod wheel, so new types of organs. I mean, nobody's done anything new since the B3, it seems, right? Everybody tries to emulate everything you can do in that stuff. Can in older versions, I just type in search. We're not going back to do any edits, Daniela, to older versions of Unify. Sorry. The new features are in Unify 1.7. I have no idea why someone would want to use an older version. So many of the patches that do some really cool things. I mean, you can use whatever version you want, but I'm not asking Shane to spend any time working on 1.3 when we don't have 1.7 out. That's just, sorry, that's not. Is there an easy way to switch BPMs over time signatures like 12/8? You can go here to set your settings to 12/8 for the clock. And then you'd need to load MIDI files and stuff that support that. Organism, there you go, yeah. I like that. Nice. Thanks, Matey the Great. So that will be in Unify 1.7 as well, to give yourself these 3 plugins. We showed these when we first brought out Unify, so. Yeah, Daniela, if you want to talk about something like that, go to the forums. That would be where to ask. That's but we're not going to go back and try to figure out patches and retag or, sorry, that's just someplace we can't go there. Moving forward. All right, so 1.7 will be out Wednesday. MegaMagic Keys will be out Wednesday. There's a few free things I wanted to show you guys. Can we talk about the sampler? Sure. Oh, okay, so yes. I'm going to show that more. Now, SampleMapper, let me show you, is this program that we are building that allows you to make your samples work inside of Unify. And it's grown up a lot. Well, Control and Option is where you take embedded Unify and you pop out. Yeah, I tend to jump around a little bit. I'm sorry. If you go to the unified libraries especially, these are definitely just a single patch calling up the factory patch, right? So if you load something as a new Unify layer, I don't know why it's not playing. Oh, you know what? I probably doesn't think I'm authorized. Yeah, so hold on 1 second here. Let me. For some reason, and I'm not sure I'm a big fan of this, the Cherry Audio plugins are checking the internet when they run, and it's possible that they decide that they need you to log in, and if you're somewhere where you can't log in, I don't know what you're gonna do. There, now it's in. Now it's a Unify layer. There's a shortcut, Control and Option, that because right now if I want to edit the filter of this patch, right? I have to double click here. I have to double click here to get to where I see the parameters for the DCO 106. So there's a shortcut. If you hold down Control and Option and click right here, that will tell Unify, I want to lose the Unify skin and just have layer 1 plugin. It's this option right here. So it's the same as that. So that's the Control and Option thing that I showed you guys. And I'll just double emphasize it. Make sure that you got it. Right? Okay, SampleMapper, I am sorry to say, I think it's not going to be available on Wednesday. There's just too much trying to get Unify 1.7 out and work on this because Shane added a new tab. Can you see a tab up here that says Editor? And now we're thinking we're going to marry drums and notes to Editor. There's some stuff we're talking about working. I'm used to working with a program that's no longer available. And I'm not going to say its name because I don't want it to be compared to this because we are nowhere close to that masterpiece of a sample editing program because it does editing of samples and all sorts of things we don't do and so forth. But there are certain things that I like that are important to be able to do that we can now do. We have a drum mode, we have a note mode, and now we have a keyboard editor. And okay, we'll dive into this and then I'll show you the free plugins at the end, okay? So I have over here, let's see here. If I go desktop, I have it right here. We're gonna do a quick sample edit using Logic. I'm gonna drag over a sample that I bounced out. These are the MegaMagic 2 reverbs for the Yamaha C3. Don't need to import that. Right? Oh, are these distorted? Nope, they're not distorted. It's just the waveform is showing it in a weird way. Now, I'm going to do this very quickly because this is a live stream and, you know, time is of the essence and it's not really the place for a masterclass on sample editing. But as you can see down here from the waveforms, I have every single note. If I play, oh, I got to turn off. Right? Each note all the way up to keyboard range is a separate sample. This is how I build these types of maps for the MegaMagic. I've created this thing with all this beautiful reverb and stuff. And then you bounce it out inside of your DAW. And then there's a function inside of Logic called, right here. It removes silence. It's Control X to call it up. And with this, you can set up all sorts of parameters for how it's going to make separate regions. Minimum time to accept the silence, I want it to be a little bit longer, so that way, now it's just 13 regions. I'm not going to worry about the pre-post. I'm going to have it go all the way to the end of the next sample. So I say, do it to it. It spits it out. And I can now just shorten them a little bit. I need to go down here. And every other is CG for this particular map. So I know I can just select these guys and move them down. Now these I'm going to rename PC0. And there's a cool thing in Logic where if you have a whole bunch of files selected and you name the first one on the left, the ones after it will be advanced by 1 in the numbers that you use. So if you say, you know, trumpet 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5. So I said C0, so I said C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6. And then over here, these need to be pianissimo G0. And I'm not even going to check these. I'm just going to assume they are going to work and be perfect, right? So once I have done this, typically I would go in and I would look at the attacks of everything and spend time, but I'm not doing that. So you go here to export 13 regions as audio, go to my desktop, say new folder, and this is piano, MM2 piano, say do it. And it kills audio and it spits everything out as audio files, just like that. So I'm done. I can say, fine, thank you. Go away. Now I have a folder with these samples. And if I wanted to do this in a, let's do this in a legit way. Like we'll go to Unify, libraries. This is going to be into the MegaMagic Keys folder, into the samples. This is the hierarchy. If you guys are going to get into doing your own samples, you'll need to learn about. We'll talk more about that. There'll be videos. I'll be going crazy with stuff like that. So Z key, C. Oh, this is MM2 Yamaha C3, and then I want to get rid of all this stuff and pianissimo. So now it's named the way that I want it to be. Go over here. Oh, wait. I think it dragged into the wrong place. So let's say go here. And now it's there. So now that I have this when you have the samples where you want them to be, you want to do this before you use SampleMapper. So MM2 Yamaha C3P. Here are the samples. And so right now it's on the notes tab, but we're talking about maybe modifying this where you would say, I want to load file names by numbers. I'm not going to give it a velocity range because I want it to be full velocity range. I drag them over. Boom. They are here. It didn't see the note numbers. Oops. Oh, by numbers. Oh, so clear. I need to say by note names. And now, there, the note numbers are assigned. Now, because of the work Shane did this last week, when you go to editor, oh, I got to go generate map. Boom. There you go. They're now mapped across the keyboard. If I click one and change it, I can change the range. If I wanted to do velocity windows, I can do velocity windows. We actually have a technique for doing round robins. It's a true round robin technique. And as you can see, we can save SFZ, which will say save Unify SFZ in the future. We also can save out in decent sampler format. So the free decent sampler will be supported because it supports streaming, which is really important because Unify's GuruSampler does not support streaming. So you'll be able to save out. These are for Shane for his beta work he's doing. They won't be there probably in the final. The way this looks is not how it's going to look in the final. That's why we need more time. We're refining things as we go. But if I hit Save SFZ, and I have it set to go to the MegaMagic Keys folder where the other SFZ files are, and I can go, go key, MegaMagic 2, but this is not the U1, this is a C3 pianissimo. I can say save, and boom. I have now made a map, and let's say, thank you, GuruSampler, go away, go back to Logic, go up here to Unify. Let me get it to show up on the screen, and get the little keyboard so you guys, nothing up my sleeve, you can see the notes I'm playing. If I go init, let's do this, let's go into MegaMagic Keys, to one of the MegaMagic 2 pianos, like say let's say felt, so we can really tell when we have it changed, right? So if I go over here to GuruSampler, I hit the little lightning bolt. That's an update to update the directories so that now MegaMagic 2 C3 is available. And There it is. So I made samples. I used SampleMapper to make a sample map. I could now go to the GuruSampler and say, no, this needs to be one of the C3 samples, probably the medium, like the mezzo or the piano would be nice. And maybe I want to have this darker. So you get brighter when I play brighter. Right? So, there you go. That's how easy it will be to get your own samples into Unify. It's really nice. It works pretty well. But we want a little bit more time to just refine a few things in the interface, how it works. We want to make sure it's totally reliable. By the way, if you want to do round robins, you actually use drums. And we now have an advanced mode. Like I showed last week, if you had drums, let's go back over here to something like sample mass. And I've got my drum folder here. Let's go drum hits. And let's say 808 for days. And I have, let's say right here, I think I have a rather large amount of 2,658 808 samples that I've accumulated over the years. I could say I want to start at, and you can put in numbers, so let's say 24, starting at C0. And if I say advance with each file, I'm going to say each drag and drop. I haven't worked with this a whole lot, but I could say a whole bunch of kick drums, and it will advance them. I think, see how it advanced to 25? With each file is what I want to use. So say clear, do this again. Each file will be advanced so that they each go to a separate note. So you can do it this way to go, that's bass drum. Say I want some snare drums before I get to, you can build a drum kit from your samples like this. So you just put in the drums that you want and it will advance the note number. So when I say generate map, it will put them across the keyboard right like this. Now we don't have, there's some parameters that you can see access to. Again, there's things we have to work on with this regard to this interface. But you can say don't advance at all. You could say I want all these samples on C0, and then I could say C1 and C1, and say I had a whole bunch of other samples that I wanted to have round robin, drag, boom, generate map. It now makes two files that you can click and drag, and each one of these contains all of these samples. So you can actually, and once they touch each other, they're now married so that they stretch and expand. So we can do, you can do velocity ranging, stuff like this. But you could actually select just one of these samples from here and lock it. You can't edit the parameters yet. There's a lot to do, and we're not sure how far along this needs to be before we release it to you, because the double-edged sword of releasing something like this, when it's a work in development in a way, and we could spend a year on this before we release it if we want it to be at a certain level, right? How far along does it have to be before you guys would be happy, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we're working on things. Time will tell how we're thinking early in January at this point is probably realistically when SampleMapper will come out. But it's not like a long time, but we want it to be at least to a certain point before we release it. But as you can see, it's a wonderful, useful tool. So I want to get it to you guys as soon as we feel good about where it's at. Okay, so SampleMapper will be on its way, and there we go. Yeah, well, it's very simple. the challenge is some of these sample programs have been around for a very long time. They've been added to and added to where they have all sorts of flexibility, but it makes them complicated. We're kind of taking the opposite approach and just what are the basic things we need, because a lot of the sample tools are in Unify with layers. So we don't have to do the whole groups and all that kind of stuff, because you just put two different sample maps on two different layers and use the velocity range here to determine when it plays one set of sounds to the next layer. So it kind of removes some of that complication, because it ends up that the complication is kind of spread out everywhere. But I think it works really well, and it's been really, really fun to work with. If you look at something like the this piano, this is the C3 Grand, right? When you load it up, it's two Unify layers. There's one that is the piano, and then one that's the noises of the piano. So you can just turn it down a little bit or off if you don't want it at all. But those are the kind of the things that a piano right? But if you open up this Unify layer, each one of these zones above F#6, the notes need to sustain. So the envelopes for these samples have the release really long. Down here, they don't. But what's really fun with this being separate like this is I can have different velocity curves. I can have different samples. I can have different, like the release here is 0.362. The release on the forte samples is 0.669. So as I play harder, like a real piano does this thing with the strings, they ring a little bit longer because you hit them harder. So I can do things like that in layers, which is nice. If the lowest samples, if I want these to go darker, I can just go here and change the velocity curve. Now it's truly whispering, but it doesn't marry so well. Also, I want to point out, we do have inside of the settings right here a velocity curve. If you're on a weighted keyboard, you might want to change this. This is the global velocity curve. This is overseeing all of the patches, that everything that comes in MIDI-wise goes through this global velocity curve. So if the piano doesn't play the way you want, if other patches don't play the way you want, know that you can go to this curve and change it, and it's global. And there's different presets. If you go load, there's fixed, there's 88 note weighted. I set it up some basic curves, but all you have to do is change like this if you want it to be set to a specific velocity curve to play a certain way. That goes for everything, for every plugin that comes into Unify. That velocity curve is kind of the king over it all, okay? So, okay? Yeah. So there's imperfections. I mean, I recorded this while my mom and dad were sleeping in the other side of the house. So I'm tickled with how nice and playable. Okay, so there's a couple PLYSKAs, plugins you should know about. There's a new one from my friend Heinbach, has created with audio thing called Gong Amp. This is a rather interesting, this used to be an actual, made in the 30s or 40s, I believe, sound going through being modified by a gong cymbal. He's got pillows you can put in front of it. Things you can put buzzy wise on it. Or just let it ring out. But it's really cool. It's a very different vibe. Let's say we go to Retrosphere 2. which I have an update for. I couldn't get it out today because Shane's not here today. But let's say load up a drum groove into here and see what that sounds like. There's different microphones. Turn on the resonator. You can overdrive it. There is a trip you can turn on, so it's doing some cool things. Right? So it's a little $39, basically like a convolution reverb type of thing with some controls. I wish they would have given it a little bit more control over some of the frequency things and stuff, but you can still get some rather interesting things out of it. And so who doesn't need a gong to be put on their strings and drums and stuff like that? Thank you. Cool. Okay, so that's one of the plugins I want you to know about. Let me get you the link. Audio thing. Here is Gong Amp, is their new interesting, and it was made in partnership with Heinbach, who's a friend of mine that I met in Germany a couple of years ago. Nice guy, very nice guy. Cool to see him coming up with cool plugins that are outside of the normal. And then not just making it just a gong reverb, which is what the original hardware was, but adding pillows and chains and all sorts of other things to it. I also want to turn you on to a really cool, inexpensive synth that I think has a really cool character. My graphic artist, Michael, in the Netherlands, told me about this. And is it Ephonic Invader? Ephonic.com, I believe, is the is it dash? Yeah. e-phonic.com for Invader. It's a pay what you would like. For the synthesizer, I bought it, I think 25 euros I paid for it to support him. But it has a very nice character, reminds me of some of the early Synapse synths. Let me kill my microphone so you can hear the filter. The filter on this is just wonderful. If that makes you think of BT, then you're my kind of friend, because it's got that kind of resonance. It's got the pingy thing that BT used in the 90s. It's just really nice. Nice patches. The dude knows how to program, so. He also has a free effect I want to make you aware of. Let's call this effect up on drums. Okay, so Invader 2, highly recommended if you want that really cool, warm, killer filters. It's very, very nice. No complaints from Skippy on that one, let me tell you. So Retrosphere 2, we've been going crazy, doing some really cool things. Let me show you this on, I'm making, and I'll be making more before we release this, hybrid grooves using both the LM1 and the Retro Simmons together. So you have, right? And if you go over here and add something like Ice Cream at Midnight, this is one of the new ones. Okay, gotta have Ice Cream at Midnight, man. If you haven't done I mean, it makes it tough to sleep for a little while, but, right? Okay, so let's go over here to Ephonic. Let's just stick this on the output. It's a really, really cool, let's see, Ephonic Expressor. It's got drive. It's got dynamics. Let's kill the bass. Just kill the drums. Isn't that great? Bring it down a little bit. Just have a little bit of sauce. There's soft clipping, hard clip. And a wave folder. And it's free. So if you go to the Ephonic website, I'll show you how to get this. Come back here. Let's see, I want to hide my bookmark bar. Let's go Ephonic. So it's called Expressor Dramatic. It sounded interesting. I can show that to you as well. It doesn't, inside of its plugin, it doesn't have a preset patch loader, so I couldn't load up different drum kits, so I wasn't sure how to use it. If you go to Expressor, you can download it, and then you need to use this as the name and this as the license number, and it will say failed. Close the plugin, reopen it, and it works. And you no longer have it running, giving you random noise. But it's a really nice overdrive limiter that can get in some cool types of sounds. I'm hitting it really hard. But having low cut and high cuts, you can tame things out really easily and give them just a little bit of sauce and a little bit of dynamics. 100%. Here's without it. So it's very nice, very well done. Just to be the high end, if you wanted to like put something else for a different kick, I could use this and then go to the LM1 and go to 8-note pop. Now this creates something interesting. So if I wanted to use this and have the 8th note pop be clean, so go over here, say copy plugin state, hold down option to delete that. I'm going to give myself a new auxiliary bus. I'm going to call up that effect again. So we go over here to Ephonic Expressor. Go right here and say paste the plugin state. So it plugs back in the settings. And now I turn down the direct send of those two, just the drums. And I send bus 2, or actually it's bus 3, 100%. So now this is going only through auxiliary 3, and it's 100% to the expressor. So I have this sound, and then I can bring back in the LM1 just dry. It's not going to that third bus right here at all. It's at 0. Now I've combined the two together. So I actually have a series of videos coming out starting next week called One Tip Topics, where I try really hard to stay to one topic per video. We'll see if that, you can, right. Then you realize they're kind of, so Daniela, the contact library has been unified for MegaMagic pads. So you can download, I had Taylor do that this week. So it works. Hey, Music Recording Network. Hey, good to see you, man. And I don't know what you're saying about short reviews. I'm just saying something's available. It's a library that's been out for quite a while now, so. I know. Well, that's kind of the fun challenge of it is, you know, can Skippy stay on one topic? Well, I'll do my best. All right, one more thing to show you guys. That's a free library from 8DO. 8DO. Let me see. Let me get over here to show you. Danielle, you're so tough to work with. I do my best. My gosh. Let's see here. Go to, so it's called the New Hybrid Rhythms. It's right here. And it is a free drum percussion sample library from 8DO. Let's show that again. I didn't want to show this. Hide my bar. Now, the library in itself is very kind of gated, choppy in a way, but I'm going to show you something kind of cool. Let me call it up. So go init, go over here to favorite instruments to contact. Let's see here. Takes a minute to load contact, you know. I think I'm on files already for this library, so I can see it's got to update and blah, blah, blah. MegaMagic Keys, we have some more classic rock, jazz, blues, or so on piano patterns. Well, that's a whole different thing, my friend. Akim is asking for MIDI files, and that's cool. That's not what the library will be. It's piano, and then that would be a separate purchase. So hybrid rhythms, let's see. Let's get my sequencer to be at 110 beats per minute, so I can call up the 110 beat per minute hybrid rhythms. This is mapped out in, let's see, let's have this go away so you just see it this way. You have all these different samples, and they're set up with this interface, and this is a library that's been out for a little while. It's not a new library, so to speak. But one thing that's cool is if you go to, I have this here in my 8DO, I have many 8DO libraries. I've spent a lot of money with them over the years. I consider Trolls a friend. If we go over here to the new hybrid rhythms, if you look inside of this folder, my friends, you will notice, whoops, that the samples are WAV files. And there are all sorts of really cool things set up. Let's see if I go to Logic and I load up a whole bunch of these. Say I go like this, and you have to go away so that I can drag this to Logic, and I'm gonna say use new tracks. So it put these in here. You'll notice that these are all WAV files you can load into Unify or somewhere, and now it doesn't have that interface and do all the chopping and gating and all that weird stuff. You then go over here, and they're the full-length samples. So what I'm telling you is that these are variations. If you were to string these out, like from here to here to here, and then have this last one for the hit, this could be a complete film cue, just like that. So let's see, those are muted. Let's mute all of these guys. So now, so these are free to be used as WAV files. It's not, they're not protected, so you can have access to them to use in your DAW or other productions. And there's all sorts of them. There's 10 of them. I don't know if they're the same 10 at different tempos. Let's see, for call it number 6. Oh, I don't have this set where you're going to hear it. I had to have things set so I wouldn't have double audio. But I'm not sure if they're the same ones just done at different tempos or if they're truly different. I didn't check that, but it's for free. So if you want some fun samples to play with, it's a 1.3 gigabyte library. I'll also tell you this, they just released for SoundPaint their prepared piano. And just so you know, those samples come from this library and they have a 60% off sale going on. So if you go to their main website, they'll talk, oh, is it 60% off now? Oh, I think 60% is off. So, no. Yeah, well, I got it when it was at 60% off. And this is an incredibly cool library, just unbelievable. There's 44,408 samples. There's all sorts of prepared piano prepared in all sorts of mangled, cool, unique ways that are just incredible. So let's see if I still go back up here. Where is Unify? And I have contact loaded, so it shouldn't take too hard. Hello, Unify, there you are. So contact, open back up the browser so I can see. And instead of this hybrid rhythms, let's go to the, where is it at? Prepared piano. And here are the instruments they have: played, punished, persecuted, and effects. It's just really, really amazing, amazing stuff. So if you need something, these layered with MegaMagic Keys are insane. Super, super cool. Because these are like prepared with razors, with things vibrating, played with bows, E-bowed, all sorts of crazy techniques used to create really cool new sounds aimed at kind of cinematic, round robin and velocity. Sustain pedal plays different sounds. Just really, really, really cool stuff. Yes, there's a lot of pausing, but I can do better. I mean, I have, and if you have ideas for one-tip topics, I have quite a nice list of topics that would be short. Some of them might be just a minute or two long. I can't wait to just do some that are just a 1 or 2 minute long video, because typically my videos are like 30, 40 minutes long each, right? So these are short, one-tip topics. So that starts next week. Like, always use LoudMax is one of the topics. So see how that goes, right? Anyway. I'm going to go to the Master Effects. This is another topic, using the Master Effect presets. Go over here, use Optimizer. Just brings up the sound. Just to show you how nice this is, let's go over here, go to Keyscape, MegaMagic Keyscape, MegaMagic Keys. Let's say we get the C3 and just load it into a new layer. So it's going to load all the stuff that makes up the Yamaha C3 right there. And then go over here, back here. Like the prepared piano in SoundPaint is the sustain pedal up of this, but it has a short envelope. Whereas in this contact library, that's a sustain pedal up, sustain pedal down. Super, super cool. I love pianos that are pianos plus. You know, I'm not a concert pianist per se, so things like this. Really nice. So it's a great library, highly recommended. And this is just one of the libraries. If you go to the Punished, it might take too long to load, but it's Punished pianos. They've done, yeah, it's gonna take a while to load, but it's. So how are you guys today? What's on your minds? Yeah, some of their stuff gets pricey, but when you realize the amount of work to organize 44,000 samples to make this kind of an interface, you know, he's trying this new thing with SoundPaint, and I wish him great luck with it. It's more simplified, it's more immediate. It doesn't require contact, so it's his own product. You go into the controls. Rusty steel. Twisted steel. And drilled grand. So, it's a great library, and that doesn't even get into the effects and the persecuted. I mean, we've just touched a fraction of it. But, you know, good samples that are recorded well, that cost really great microphones, and knowing what you're doing, you can't complain. Because, you know, 15, 20 years ago, it was $4,000 for a synthesizer that was just a fraction of what realism you can get today. So, don't complain. Don't want to hear it. You just have to go back in time and realize how far we've come and how much we have accessible to us. We live in a golden era where we can do all sorts of really cool, creative things far beyond just what it used to be back in the day. So I think we'll probably wrap it up right here. Do you guys have any questions? Are there any plans to do a Vital library? Yes, yes. We have a library, should be out January, February for Vital. It's insane, truly insane library for Vital called Vitamin V. And I'm doing it with a friend of mine that's working with me on the Retrosphere 2 library, Saif. So if you like some of the stuff in this library, let me show you a couple other things that we've done. Here's Nothing But Neon. This update will be out by Wednesday. Keeping a secret. Some of these. I think I danced at a high school dance in 1981 to this. You know, that kind of happy belly vibe. Radio Shack March. This is one from Saif. There's some BPM bass things I've been doing that are really fun with FM, because that was a really kind of cool thing back then. Let's see, Kicking It All Night. Slow it down. And of course, I got a drum groove all ready to go. Just just turn it on. This library is $39. I'm going to keep it $39 until Wednesday when the update to Unify comes out and MegaMagic Keys comes out. Retrosphere will go to $49. Okay, so yes. Yeah. Well, here, I will tease you for a minute because I love to tease, as you know. If you don't have Vital, that is definitely the synthesizer of the year. Highly suggest you all go buy it. It's a wonderful, I love the interface. Right now the library is called Critical V, and this is not a 80s. I'm not even going to show you what we're doing in the patches yet. Side bass. Bells. All of these will be wrapped up in Unify. You will get the library of presets for Vital, but inside of Unify, there's new drum kits. We're like programming the absolute crap out of the... So Will, I hope this puts a smile on your face. This is made for 100. It's not 80s. We are not playing 80s. This is serious, new, cool stuff. And that's just half the library. So that will be coming out in January, February. You will need to own Vital. So if you don't have it already, please get it. It's a great synth. This interface, the way that it's done is just wonderful. I love programming where you can say, let's see, if we go here, initialize, turning on a filter and go, I want this LFO to play with filter cutoff. I can hover over it to see it modulating. I have the intensity right here without having to go to a matrix page or anything. I can... If I want to use the paint and I want to say eighth notes, change the curvature by turning off the paint can. And then if I want this also to be modulating the pitch or the unison, now it's changing the voices of unison. It's insane. It's a wonderful synth. And the fact that you can get it for free, which I please pay some money for it. Don't do it for free. Give Matt Titel some love for putting together something so powerful. And we'll have a library out in 2022, early 2022 for this incredible plugin. So there's your teaser of the day, okay? Good, I see smiley faces. Okay, so I have a sale also starting next Wednesday, just so you know. It will be till the end of the year, and I always go a little bit over the end of the year. There's no reason to stop on January 1st because everybody's celebrating New Year's, and who wants to go buy synthesizer patches? So I have it probably go till like the 5th, but it'll be a big sale. So that starts Wednesday with all this other cool stuff happening. So Any questions, my friends? Any questions? If you have questions, Taylor and Shane and myself, we are on the forums at forums.pluginguru.com. And I mentioned this. Let me show you again. If you go to the link in the video description, there is a topic I have set up right here that has all 40 of our unified libraries. You need to own these synthesizers. A lot of them are free. Surge is a free synth. You can get the library for Surge. Eventide's Pendulate is free. So there's some things that are free in the list. Some say use VST3 format. That means the VST3 version has to show up inside of the known plugin list instead of the VST. For the most part, we use VST, but there are times where the companies can't make a VST version anymore because Steinberg took that option away for new developers. They have to only make VST3. So we have them listed here, and I'll keep updating it as we add more libraries. I unified all 3 Razor libraries, MegaMagic pads for Contact, and Spitfire Labs, which is the free unified library. But MegaMagic pads now comes so that if you go Contact MegaMagic pads, here are all of the patches for MegaMagic pads in Unify format per Daniela's request. She requested last week, and I had Taylor spend time this week. Getting all this going so you can load into layers, multiple contacts, and right? So, been a busy week, very busy week. So there you go. Any questions? I think we're all good. Are you going to sleep at all between now and Wednesday? No. Well, yeah, I get at least 6 or 7 hours of sleep a night. That's my goal. I try. What time do you go live on Saturdays? I always go live at 12 o'clock, which is 90. Well, now I'm almost 15 minutes over. 12 o'clock p.m. Los Angeles time is when the live stream starts every Saturday. Yeah. All right. Shout out. We haven't done shout outs in a while. I've said goodbye without saying shout outs. So shout out from wherever you are. Yeah. SoundPaint is very, very cool. No doubt. If you don't have SoundPaint, that's another one you should get that is free. Shout out from Portland, Oregon. You get a free grand piano. He gives you a 1928 grand. So we'll give a shout out to Trolls. Soundpaint.com is the website. He's got incredibly cool graphic stuff always going on. But the 1990 prepared piano has some of those choice tasty things from the prepared piano ADO library in SoundPaint format, which is very cool. They have all these other libraries, all sorts of cool stuff to work with. So keeps adding to the libraries. I think he told me he had something like 100 instruments that they were going to be bringing out for SoundPaint. So that library is going to grow to be multiple terabytes. All right, St. Louis, Copenhagen. Oh, Coventry country in the UK. Hi, Ian. Nice to see you. Thank you. On the coast of the UK for Simon. Good to see you. Our friend Tim Dale, by the way, I have some sales going on this weekend on bundles, which will not be on sale next week when the big sale starts. So if you go, let's see, I want to go to, let's see, this is for promotions, current promotions. Right now, Tim Dale's 5-pack is on sale at a crazy $99 for all 5 of his libraries for Omnisphere. The Omnipulse Trio is $59, which is crazy because they're $39 each. As you can see, bundles are on sale until Wednesday. I'll keep the sale up. I'll put a little news out tomorrow to let everybody know, but these bundles are all available. Retrosphere 2 is here for $39. The bundle for MegaMagic for Wave State. I'm working on new libraries for Wave State. It's in the works as well. So there you go. Oh, these aren't on sale anymore, so I'll probably get those off from the list because that big sale is over. But the sale on individual libraries will start on Wednesday. Between now and Wednesday, I have sales, and I'll probably add some more bundles before tomorrow. So, well, good. Thank you all for joining. It's good to see all of you. Oh my gosh, sounds from the sound box. You're in Portland? It's rainy and windy and gross here. Well, I'm sorry, Daniela. Have a good day. All right. See you guys. Take care. Bye.